Okay, welcome everybody. We are on Wake Up. You're listening to Wake Up DC or Wake Up DMV, which is District, Maryland, and Virginia, depending on how you want to call it, this beautiful tri-state area with Doug and Sean podcast. And don't I love DC? Yes, I have to call that out again, how beautiful our city is, where we discuss mindfulness in everyday life. And I just want to say that I'm very, very excited to have a very special person with us today because why is she special? Well, she is special because she is our first guest ever. And we'll see how this goes. We hope it goes well because I've never done an interview in my life. Have you, Doug?
I've done a few interviews. I've done more from the technical side than I have from the interviewer side, but I've done a couple.
Okay, well, thank God. Thank God somebody had some experience here. Anyway, shall we introduce our guest?
So, this is Dana. Dana, we're doing this because Dana met Sean at a cuddle party. And
well, can we have Dana say hi first before you dive in, Doug?
Hi.
I mean, I want our audience to,
Good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. And, I know these things are not easy to pull away from our busy days to do, and we're in the middle of a work day today. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Take it away, Doug.
Okay, so Sean met Dana at a cuddle party and had an experience with her and another person, and we talked about the cuddle party and on the recording, and the experience was eye-opening for Sean. It helped her shift some judgments that she had, and she talked about it on the podcast with me on the recording, and she let a friend of hers listen to it, and the friend said, you can't use that because it's not PC. The language isn't correct. And so we were like, well, what would correct language be and what would it look like? And I talked to a friend of mine, Tom, who works with people, and has a close friend that he works with in what he calls maybe the ableism community. And I said, well, what language should we use? And he said, why don't you ask her what language she likes?
Well, I also want to preface that today we're going to be, the umbrella of this particular podcast today is wise speech, which in some of my groups that I'm in, my Sangha, my meditation Sangha with the Insight Meditation Group, they've been working on the Eightfold Path, and so one of our things is wise speech. So we thought this might be a good chance to kind of dive into a little bit about what that is, as well as to recircle back to that podcast he was talking about. We did not air it. We're not going to air that. It's okay. And just to be clear, but that one was about healing through pleasure, which I think is the umbrella title of what the group that we're doing, the Cuddle Puddle group, is about. It's an amazing, amazing group. I can't wait to hear what Dana has to say about it. But so point being, we'll dive back into these subjects, however we want to talk about it.
Yeah, and I just have to say, I'm sorry, my Zoom cut out when Doug was speaking, so I didn't hear. I heard that you did a previous talk, like a practice rehearsal, and you let a friend hear it, and they said, no, you can't say that. So that's all I heard.
And so we were looking for what the right language would be, and I talked to a friend of mine who works in what he calls the ableism community, and he said, if I want to know what the proper language would be, why don't we ask her? Ask Dana.
So, of course, with any type of terminology, when you're referring to people, I'm sorry, Sean, did you want to say?
Yeah, go for it. I'll jump in.
I'm just saying, of course, with any type of terminology, when you're referring to a person and whatever category they belong to or not, it's personal. Okay, so it'll vary probably from person to person, but I would say in general, the term handicap is not preferred, and the term crippled is not preferred. Now, those of us who are active in the movement, in the disability rights movement, we use the term crip because it's
it's cool. Who wouldn't want to use it, man?
Well, I have to mention.
I won't. I'm not using it. I'm not using it.
Have you seen the movie Crip Camp?
Yes.
Oh my God, I haven't seen it. I need to see it.
Doug. So what makes me laugh is, I was looking. So it was put on YouTube. I don't know if it's still on YouTube where it's free, but I looked at some of those comments, and there was so many people angry that the term was Crip Camp, and yet it was a movie about disabled people because they were expecting the Crips in LA, the gang. And so it just made me laugh because I'm like, wait a minute, you don't own the term.
Where's the Sharks and the Jets? Where's the Crips and the what am I watching?
Right. And so personally, I use that term amongst my close friends, and we use it with each other. And also, I am not offended by the term disabled. I know there's all kinds of euphemisms out there, differently abled, special needs. All of those are very offensive to me because why are you turning it into that type of term when there's nothing wrong with disability? It quickly, kind of gives a picture. So anyway, and there's another term, if people don't like disability at all, I heard a term called diversibility. And what I like about that term is when you say diversibility, it focuses on all the unique abilities we all have, right?
I love it. I love it.
Sean has diverse abilities, Doug has diverse abilities, and I do. So it's focusing on our abilities, not on what we can't do, but what we can do. And I think that's the way we need to look at people in my community. Look at us for what all the unique things we could do, not what I can't do.
Freaking brilliant. I love it. I do remember you saying that as soon as I asked you about the podcast last time we were at the thing, and I remember you immediately saying, don't pussyfoot around it or whatever. I don't remember your words, but it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Like, just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also the thing of person first, like person with a disability. But I just like being short and concise, so I'd rather say disabled person.
Yeah.
To me, that's fine.
Yeah, all this stuff is really, really important. I'm also in a teacher training program that goes 2 years for mindfulness training, and we have an affinity group. So we're addressing all of these things every month for the next 6 months. It's been really invaluable for me. Any difference. I mean, I'm different. We're lesbians. We're different. We're women. We're different.
Right.
Sorry,
right.
but
Yeah, you could check so many boxes with me. It's not even funny.
Yeah, not even funny. Yeah, I get it.
And you can check a few with me as well.
True. Doug gets a few. Doug does get a few.
So, what's interesting, so I identify as Black African American, and my son used to use the term, the N-word, and
Wow.
he doesn't use that term anymore. I haven't heard it much, but among his friends. I don't think that it's a term that we would find appropriate coming from, someone who identifies as, Caucasian or white or otherwise.
Outside of that community.
Yeah. So if you heard somebody use the term Crip, I understand using that in your community.
And also, I have to know the person. I have a really good friend who is, for all intents and purposes, he's an AB. He's an able-bodied person. I've heard him say, "Oh, Chris, she's a cute Crip," and I know his intention. So of course, I'm fine with him using it because I know he's totally all about who we are and what we are, and so I am not offended. But that's because I know him really well. I know his intent. I know his intention around it.
Okay, so but if you heard somebody you didn't know use it, it might sound kind of hard.
Yeah, it might. I mean, sometimes you could pick up on the context, how they mean it, but if not, then
and your preferred term would be either disabled or for you. And I also heard you recognize that this is individual and within
Exactly.
your group.
Well, I was going to say it's not monolithic ever, is it? Come on, with lesbians or anybody. Any
No.
point of view we have. That's
Exactly.
obviously, yeah.
And not only that, it may not be the same for you in a year or two from now, or a week from now. You may change.
Maybe. Who knows? I'm
But
getting
right-
grumpier. I'm getting grumpier as I age. So
Aw, no. The cuddle puddle is helping smooth over those edges. we're healing through pleasure. Let's dive into healing through pleasure now. Let's switch it up. No.
let's. Yeah. That's,
Hold on.
Yeah,
you
Doug.
cut me off. I just wanted
Oh,
to finish.
my
So
apologies.
what I heard is the preferred terms was that you feel comfortable with would be something as disabled or diversibility. And I love the term diversibility. Actually, I'm very intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I haven't heard it in my affinity group thing. I can't believe I haven't even heard. I can't wait to bring
I
that
wish
one in.
I wish I could take credit for coining that term, but I heard it through somebody else, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, we'll credit you.
Thank you for that. That's a gift.
Yeah, it's good. It's beautiful.
Okay, Sean, go ahead. You want
I don't know. So what about notables? Notables. Do we want to dive into when you and I were at it? Do you want me to talk you my story about it, or do you want to just tell me some things about just in general, like I don't know, experiences and tie them into mindfulness? But all this is mindfulness because anything we're aware of is mindful.
Right. Why don't you start?
Why don't I start? Yes, so a cuddle puddle. What is it? Can we describe it real quick, just for our audience?
Sure.
Please.
Would you want to say something about it, Dana? Or you want me to say? Bunch of wisdom.
I think the whole premise behind this group is being able to. It's the people who sign up to be there are all open to a certain extent to touch, and which we don't know each other very well, most of us, but as Sean mentioned earlier, it's amazing how the power of touch, the healing power of touch, and just having that closeness, even though it's odd, like we don't know each other, and yet we're open to that type of thing, and it feels beautiful.
Yep, it sure does. It's unbelievable, actually, and I agree. The first cuddle puddle I went to before we did our series, I forget what our series is called that you and I are in, but the very first one, I was matched up with this woman, or at some point it was open play, and some woman said, I said, do you want to try something? Just by some random woman that was next to me. I was really concerned nobody would reach out to me. That was my big concern. Nobody would want to touch me. And in fact, nobody did. But I reached out to this woman, not in that group anyway. Not in that group. It happened later, of course. And so they'd just done spooning, demonstrated spooning and stuff. So she was like, well, would you lay on my back? So I lay on her back, and she was an older woman, and older than me. And it was profound. Like, I could tell. So she starts crying almost. I'm just laying on her back, and she basically shares with me that she hadn't been touched in like decades, okay? Like a long time. And I'm just laying on her, and I was touched by the gift, the offering that I was making this unbeknownst to me, but this was that big a deal for her, And I get it, because I hadn't been touched in 10 years, as Doug knows my whole history, previous to very recently when I finally got back in the game again, since my ex. It's been 10 years since I touched anybody. And so, which is of course why I was attracted to this. Like, it's kind of like we starve without it. And this particular woman that I happened to lay on had been gone even longer than that, So it was a gift. It was a true gift for me to realize.
It is.
Just as I understand, the Cuddle Party, a group, I won't call it a party, is a structured group of, I believe it's all women, who get together, and there are guidelines. I think it's no alcohol, no drugs, and no sex. It's about touch, and it's very structured, and there's a frame about how you proceed and do things. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and this particular group is lesbians, although the funniest thing is when I first went to it, there were a lot of straight women disguised as lesbians in there. Did you notice this, Dana?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad you
I
did
did
that.
not.
I was laughing because the person who turned me on to it is straight. And other women there were talking about their husbands, and I was just like, oh my God, the straight women are just infiltrating our...
No, that doesn't mean
No.
they're straight.
I know, you're right. You're right for correcting me. They could be bi or queer or anything else. We don't know. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I know that my friend who introduced me wasn't. You're absolutely right. I'm too judgy. I am too judgy. But it's just funny. It's just funny because I'm like, oh, damn. This is before I got my girlfriend. And I was like, how am I going to know which ones of these are available? I'm not going to know. Because, anyway. I know, you got to ask them.
So
That's a
let
whole
me
nother
ask you.
problem.
So, Sean, the story can you tell the story of you? I think you were partnered with two women, and Dana was one of them.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And so, can you?
So we were doing massage. We were doing massage that evening. Do you want to talk about it? I'll go. I'll dive.
Why don't you? Because
Okay.
I wanted to hear.
You want to hear my take? All right.
For
So, okay, was I scared? First off, yeah.
I am particularly interested in hearing you tell the story.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. One of which is, we're open-hearted here, and the intent is fine. But I'd like to hear if any of the language that you use, if Dana can suggest that is offensive to her, and if she would like to make suggestions on other language of how you might tell the story.
Okay, maybe I was not going to use the same language, but
Use whatever language you're comfortable with.
whatever. Okay,
fine.
okay, all right. Well, I can ask you, Dana. I'm sure you will tell me. I can say. So I was scared. I mean, when I came in and saw you, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be paired with this woman. Do I want, and the whole thing is it's about consent, and if it's not a hell yes, it's a no, and there's no harm, and it's just as valid, and you're just as participating if you sit and watch. Like this group is to teach us, particularly women, how to have boundaries, how to say no, how to know what we really want, and to be willing to learn to ask for what we want. These are issues that are really, I'm working on them. I'll probably be working on them my whole freaking life. Asking for what I want. Do I really want it? Whatever. But I love this idea that if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. That I kind of liked. And in at any time you could change your mind. And anyway, so I was in this little tug of war because we were drawing straws, and there was this color matchy thing, and this other girl was trying to pull me into her group, which felt very flattering. Now at this point I had a girlfriend, so I wasn't like on the prowl. So I have to say my energy was a little different. I was way more open and relaxed than I've ever been, because I hate feeling like I'm looking for a girlfriend. I hate that. So I was way more open, and it was kind of lovely to have these two groups of people like wanting me. And I just ended up with Dana and this other young chickadee girl. Well, I probably should call her that. And that's probably not PC, right? Dana's just laughing. She's not.
I'm 69. Everybody's a chickadee kid as far as I'm concerned.
Anyway, but I was concerned in that I was afraid, because I haven't had very many diversible people in my life, and I was afraid I wouldn't be very good at dealing with Dana and giving her what she might want. I was afraid, a little afraid to touch her, certainly a little bit, and especially, like where, I don't know, there's certain parts of your body I was concerned about, and I was too chicken to just ask. Anyway, so going in, I was definitely fearful, but I was like, what the hell? So I went with them instead of with this other woman that was trying to pull me away, which was just a sidebar sweet thing for me. Because I was wanted, and that's one of my things. Like, nobody's going to pick me. Nobody wants me. So that's it. And then luckily Dana went first, which was perfect. Because I wasn't ready, and the little younger one didn't know what she wanted. And Dana and I are in the similar category actually, which is kind of like anything goes. I think I agree. You were like, whatever. Like at that party, I don't think people weren't topless at that one, were they? Some were. Somewhere, but not a whole lot. As it progressed, it got more and more. So yeah, so we weren't. She and I weren't. We weren't topless, but. Anyway, why am I throwing that in? Just so you get a good picture of like the possibilities here. But you had to have underwear on, it wasn't a completely nude situation. So I was happy that when I was massaging Dana, you seemed to really like it. You expressed that you like it. I love that. She's like, you could tell, you pretty much can tell I thought that she was in heaven. Okay. All good. So it's like, okay, we're what?
Do not be with two people working on you at the same time.
Right. So
hard not to be.
There you go. Right. I'd agree with that. So I'm thinking, sadly, through my prejudiced lens, I'm going to get ripped off because we don't have 4 hands on me. Right? So I'm just being selfish and thinking, oh shit, this is not, but I'm going with this anyway, but it's not going to be what we just did to her, but that's okay. We'll see how this goes. Well, Dana, so I go second because the young one still didn't know what she wanted. So Dana comes on, she takes care of my head, and it's like anything goes, head and whatever, shoulders, chest, and the other girl had my lower half, which was the same. I had Dana's head and chest little area. So, I didn't mention the word about not wanting to massage did I call them stumps? See, that's probably not right.
Yeah, it's not my preferred.
Very bad. I'm so sorry.
No,
I know.
It's what the medical industry calls it, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. When growing up, that's how the doctors always referred.
And I was scared to massage that particular part of you. I was scared.
I just call it my arms.
My arms.
They're my arms.
Sure.
Right. They don't look the same as yours, but they're still my arms.
I get it, of course. Now I totally get it. Everything you're doing is with your arms, and it's the same thing. So yes, and so I didn't want to say, is it okay if I massage the ends of your arms where I know you're doing all the work? I thought, well, maybe that actually would feel good, but I don't know why that part of your body scared me a little bit. It seems sensitive.
Because that's the most different, right?
Yes, thank you. That's probably why. And I just didn't. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, so once you started massaging me with your beautiful arms, oh my God. Okay, so I'm in freaking heaven too, just like she was in heaven. So I'm like, whoa, all of a sudden my mind is blown. So I'm like, what was I thinking about those hands? What am I talking? And and then her boobs are in my face because she's leaning over me. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is so good. Like she had a bra on, she was naked. And it just was so good. And then the young girl is whatevering down there. And it's like, feels like nothing. She has hands. She's supposed to be massaging. She's massaging my hand. So after we got 20 minutes each, and after about 10 minutes of the young girl, I did speak up and say to the young girl, hey, you might want to try a different part of my body. Maybe try some of the other techniques, like we were taught air, wind, fire, soft, rougher. You were doing it all. You were doing pressure, not pressure, soft, drippy, whatever. I was like, maybe try some of that. Maybe try my feet. She's like, no, I don't like feet. I won't touch feet. I'm like, okay, don't touch my feet. Touch my legs. Or something. And the whole time I'm laying there, so it's like whatever she was doing felt like nothing. I couldn't even feel it. And whatever Dana was doing, I was like, oh yeah, keep going. So that was my experience. Blew my mind. Like, screw the hands. What does anybody know about fucking hands? I don't know, but they don't know a lot.
Thank you. That feels wonderful.
Yay.
I appreciate that. Yeah, because that's my greatest fear, right? Is that I won't get such a positive response. Like, ooh, it feels weird, or I don't like that. That's strange, or which are all valid responses, right? People can't help the way they respond.
Yeah.
So it's just nice that that's what it was for you.
It was. It certainly was. It was like, and this contradiction of the two arms, hands areas, it was like, wow, okay. Because the other girl was just like, I don't know. I was just like, nothing was going on with that part of my body. It's almost like it wasn't even.
My only thing is I can't reach much. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you made your way around. You had no problem. It seemed to me that you did a pretty good job at getting around, like, of
Good.
reaching different things because. But I'm very open and I don't care either. I didn't care that you were on me or on top of me or whatever. I was like, yeah, go for it. Just do whatever you need to do. It's all good by me. Well, how was it for you?
It was, well, like I said earlier, it was wonderful to have 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Have two people working, and I've never had that. It was just incredible, and it was sad that it lasted only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But but that's what I mean. That's the reason why I signed up, and why I was so thrilled that it was being held in a house that was accessible, because so many times, depending on what part of the country you're in, well, most of the country anyway, a lot of people's homes are not accessible unless one of them happens to be in a wheelchair or something. And so, I'm kind of sad that we only have one coming up, and hopefully I'll be able to participate again in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that as well because I'm hoping to maybe have you over to my house for game night, which I haven't done since pre-COVID, but I got to get back on doing it. But I wanted to ask you about the wheelchair situation because I have a porch with 5 steps. So is there any way that we can pick the chair up? Can people pick it up? Can we pick you up? Like, no.
No, the chair is 400 pounds.
Oh, see, that's what I was afraid of.
The only thing I might do is I could buy a ramp that's like 7 feet long, and that'll be helpful. And I might need a little assistance if the grade is too steep, but sometimes it could work with that.
Okay.
Most people don't have that.
We have a mutual friend who has 2 steps down.
Oh, that's true. We think your chair could make. She's in Cabin John.
I'm sorry, Sean.
I'm sorry.
We have
My bad.
2 steps down and 4 inches up. But we would still need a ramp of some sort. Is that right?
Yeah.
And how do you get from place to place?
I drive.
And so
here's the thing: if the place is accessible by metro or by the bus or by walking, then I'll do that. If not, then I drive.
So how do you go to the cuddle party?
I drive.
Okay, so would you carry the ramp in your car?
Yeah, if I buy a ramp, I would carry it. I do have a ramp in my car, but it's only good for like 1 or 2 steps at the most.
So the ramp in your car might work at our friend's house.
It might.
Maybe.
It might.
Maybe.
She doesn't have a lot of
And
steps.
where would you buy I take it there's places that people buy ramps?
Oh yeah, you can find one easily online. You could build one. I was lucky. My father built this ramp for me. It's made of honeycomb aluminum, so it's very strong and it's very light, which it's not easy to find that combination.
No.
So let's say Sean does throw a game a night and we do it. We have a ramp or we have it at Dana's house. Oh, yeah. It's named Dana's house.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah, sure, you can come over.
Yeah, we're just inviting ourselves over.
That might be another solution. I hadn't even.
Well, I'm trying to get people out my way. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, and Sean hasn't had people at house, and she's been there in over a year now,
Mm-hmm.
and she wants to do that. The question came to me is, I'm embarrassed again. Like, how do you hold cards?
Oh, yeah, I would have to figure something out. I would have to figure something out because I have.
We can play other games though, Doug.
No,
Yeah.
there's ways we could do it. We just have to figure out a way to stand them up. Like,
Yeah, card holders.
oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And then you, okay.
We're big
Ways to
cardies.
do it.
Doug and I play a lot of. Well, not we don't. We
Oh,
like
nice.
to. Yeah, we play a lot
I
of.
have some very good friends who I used to play poker with all the time.
Yeah, but we also do spades and hearts.
I
Do you
think
just?
I may have used like you know that tile holder in Scrabble.
Yes.
Yeah.
I may have used something like that.
Doug, we used to have a card holder for the kids because they can't hold cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like a
Okay.
slotted thing. Just shove them in there.
So, okay. But your point being is we talk to you and we figure it out and we find solutions.
My point being is that the best way to accomplish anything is to ask the person because they have lots of experiences trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with vendors who provide services to people with disabilities is that they don't often involve the person.
Really.
And if they did, well, because they approach it from a point of view of we know what's best for you. You need
Right.
to be taken care of. Like they group elderly, disabled, and kids all in the same group.
Ugh.
We all need to be taken care of. So some of the less progressive mindsets don't involve the people that they're trying to provide services to, and the more progressive ones do.
Wow. Yeah, that's sad to hear, but God, of course, it makes sense in this world.
John,
Yeah.
that third question that
Yeah.
you had on your list.
If we could change one thing today that would make the biggest difference to you, what would it be? Including if it was just whatever, anything, attitudes, or whatever.
Yeah, it is the attitudes. It's the attitude. It's looking at somebody and instead of dreading, oh, what's going to be like to interact, instead, approach it from, oh wow, this person's really unique. I wonder what cool things she could do, or he could do, or they could do. Whatever pronoun they prefer, and get to know people instead of assuming they can't do anything. Because I've said this a lot, so you might have heard it. But when I offer help, a lot of people's first reaction is to laugh, like it's a joke, like oh ha 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 yeah. And
When you offer help, you said?
yeah, when I offer help,
Okay.
like if somebody's carrying something heavy, if somebody's trying to, like, I'll give the example I've given before. I was at Costco and it had not opened yet, and the guard was trying to separate these two flatbed carts, right? They get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, you need help? And he's like, oh, yeah, no. And when he left, I took my chair and I popped it, and it separated the carts very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Now,
know what
was
you
that
can do.
Is that because I'm stronger? No, but I have the right tool. I have this 400-pound chair that I know how to drive very well. So the thing that's offensive is that they're not taking me seriously because they're looking at me saying, you're disabled, you can't help me.
Yeah,
And that's offensive.
totally.
So I think the thing that would help us most is don't be dismissive of us, and be open.
Which brings us back to mindfulness and loving kindness,
Exactly.
which we need in this world to solve all the problems besides a female president. Because, we need to bridge difference, and difference gets bridged by understanding, and understanding is by being open and loving and accepting of difference. And that's That's what
Right.
it's all about. And I'm at fault for I had those same thoughts going into that thing. And thank you for transforming me, because I will be forever changed because of you. Absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
thank you for being open enough because, not everybody is. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate your doing this with us, Dana.
Thank you.
I was touched by the question. I was a little about your suggestion to use the word arms. Sean's question of her word was stumps. I was like, oh no, don't use that word when I heard it, and then I went, I didn't know what word to use. And then you said arms, you idiot. Well, of course, my arms. And I went, I mean, that's how I heard it. And I went,
That's funny.
Of course, they're your arms.
And you have prosthetics,
Why
right?
did I
You
say
can,
that?
whatever.
And I was very touched, and I really appreciated that.
Well, again, it's coming from we're more the same than we're different. So why use a different term when there's no need, really?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And why don't
When
I
I-
see it that way?
When I was a kid, well, when I was a kid, at the doctors, they all referred to it as stumps, and every time they said it, even as a kid, I just felt bad. I just felt bad and yucky. I'm like, why are you calling it that? I didn't say anything
No.
then, but I always felt bad when I heard it.
Yes, I winced when you said that doctors use that term. Yes, that sounds painful to me. Thank you.
So any other thoughts about mindfulness or healing through pleasure or anything that comes up in our lives this past week that anybody wants to share about having a mindful moment, or I don't know, just throwing it out there? Not like I have them, because but I can always pull something.
I think being mindful is just, instead of making assumptions about another person, why they're acting a certain way, why they're doing a certain thing or not doing something, try and do a little bit less of that, because we tend to make assumptions based on our experiences, and yet the truth is everybody's unique and everybody responds to things in their way. And I heard a story once of a person on a train, and this man was with two kids, and they were running kind of crazy on the train, public setting, right? And everybody around him was getting annoyed with him because he couldn't control his kids and he wouldn't discipline them and this and that. And finally somebody went up to him and said, can you control your kid? And the guy said, well, I'm just trying to figure out how to tell them their mother just died. And it
Right.
kind of shifted the whole story, right?
Right.
And I heard that story once, and I'm like, wow, that's really powerful.
Totally. And what it reminds me of, Tara Brach, our local guru Buddhist woman, always tells the story of their foot is in the trap. This is the way she describes it. So in every case, whenever something is going on that's niggling us or bothering us, know that their foot is in the trap. And that's the example of it. The guy has to tell his kids his mother died. Like, we don't know what the trap is. We have no idea what their foot is. But if you can see that, you can have empathy for anybody and everybody. The person who cuts you off in traffic, all the horrible things that get us upset. That why are we getting upset?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
we all make mistakes, and we all do things we regret sometimes, and all we can do is try to be better, the next time.
Yeah, so thank you for that story. That's a really beautiful example of that story, man. That's a good one.
Yeah, I appreciate the story also.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
All right.
I
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on. I hope to see you again soon at some point down the road.
Yeah, we'll be
Unfortunately, I will not be able to see you at the cuddle party, but enjoy it.
no game night. Well, we could do game night though,
Game
right?
night, yes.
Oh, we're definitely gamers. We'll do anything with the games, any kind of games.
Yeah, I
Um,
like games.
So are we wrapping it up, Doug? Is that what this is? Are we at the
I
hour?
think so. Yes.
Well,
I have. Do you have something else?
oh, no, I'm just wondering where we're at. Okay, I always have something else, Doug. We didn't get
Do you
into,
have anything else? Well, yes, you do. Dana, is there anything else you'd like to add? Sean, is there anything you else?
well, we want to, when we end this thing, we want to end with a poem, and I can't believe I didn't come prepared with a poem. So I'm going to read you a poem that I just took off the internet from a friend of mine. And because it's a favorite of mine, which is Rumi. I use him a lot.
Oh, I love Rumi.
How do you not, right? I mean, oh my God, is it
Right.
here? Is it here? Okay, so, but Doug, and then we will, so do you guys does anybody have a poem? I'll do
No,
mine.
I don't. I was thinking we would wrap some other things around this interview, but go ahead.
Sure. So the poem I'm going to end us with is, it's Rumi. It's inside this new love, die. Your way begins on the other side. Become the sky. Take an axe to the prison wall. Escape. Walk out like someone suddenly born into color. Do it now. You're covered with thick cloud. Slide out the side. Die and be quiet. Quietness is the surest sign that you've died. Your old life was a frantic running from silence. I know, right? Because I'm too much of a talker. I gotta stop talking.
I'm just saying that's so true. A lot of people that just ramble and ramble and ramble.
I know, including myself.
I'm not talking about you.
No, including me. I try to keep it pertinent to something. You know, what was another one of the eightfold things? You don't talk idle chatter. It's like I try not to idle chatter. No. We're not we shoot the breeze too, because you need to do that. That's very healing as well. A little bit of gossip can go a long way to healing sometimes. I hate to say it, but.
Okay. Sean?
Yes.
You said that we were taking Dana from her middle of her day in a workplace. I'm wondering, are we...
Oh, yeah. So, and then finally, Doug, if you would just give us the meta, the loving kindness, because we need to wrap up with her. Unless anyone else has a poem. Does anybody else have? Okay. No.
I was going to read that thing that you sent that Kurt Vonnegut said, but
You can do it.
I'm going to do, may we all, I'm going to take a breath. May we all be free from suffering, safe from harm, and happily and joyfully take care of ourselves. Thank you.
That's very beautiful, Doug. And I just want to throw my 2 cents in that I'm sorry that we didn't make this one so much about you. I know you little got changed on this one. It was all about me. It was all about me and Dana, not you.
That's fine.
You took a side.
We may add a few minutes to this, but we'll see.
But don't worry,
I feel
Dana.
very complete.
He gets his 2 cents and he gets to talk a lot too. All right.
Thank you.
Again, thank you guys. It's been fantastic. And everybody, listening audience, will hear us next time. We love you and look forward to another time to be able to share with you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'd love to do game night with her I would like that.
Is she off? Just Doug and I now. We've said goodbye.
Hold on, wait. Record on this computer.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
Well, I know we wrapped it up, but it's just Doug and I. We've said goodbye to Dana. We're just going to do a little bit of more follow up between Doug and I, because I feel like Doug didn't get a whole lot of talking in. So I wanted to say, hey, Doug. So how was that for you? What we just did with Dana?
It was great. I love her. I like her. You and I have partners at the moment. Well, she's gay anyway. Not me. Might. Sometimes. But
Yeah, Doug had said I should date her. It was funny earlier. Yeah.
or at least consider. You said
So you
I had to
would
look
you would date
I
her
had
if
to look for somebody. So I dig the hell. I mean, I don't know her. I need to know her better. But my God, she's got a lot of the ball. I think she's too young for me. If you want to know,
she's in her 50s.
Uh, yeah, there's a rule. Yeah, young, early 50s. Anyway,
Mid
doesn't matter.
50s. I think she's mid 50s, Doug, but you know, mine's young 50s. Mine's early 50s, so mine's a baby in the 50s.
Well, you're a few years younger than me too.
That's true. I am. But anyway, point being, you really you enjoyed it?
Yes, I enjoyed it. I got
Her?
a lot out of it. I think I like her a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I like her a lot. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I got some education. Again, the arm thing was very informative. I can't wait to tell Tom about the diversibility comment. I thought that I like it better than the what's the one he's using now? The ableism, diversibility. That points to this thing that I'm getting with some friends around people who are close on the spectrum. Another label, and it's like, yeah, that woman brings a lot to the goddamn table, and I like her, and I think that's what counts, and as I think the experience you had, I think she was touched by the story.
I'm happy she was.
And I think she believed that in the shift, and I think she's interested in game night. I think it's important to follow up and make it happen, actually. But I mean, that's the real deal there. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thing. I'm really happy she came on and we got to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I guess that's it for this segment. Unless there's
I'm complete. I'm ready to get on with the rest of my day, my rest of my life. My blood pressure medicine is ready to be picked up at the thing. I got to figure out my new Medicare drug plan, and I'm tired. I've been dragging, but it's all good.
No, we did a good job. Yeah, you can pause it. You can stop it now. But yeah, I think we did a good job, Doug.
I did too. I would like you. I
Recording
will try
stopped.
to send you the recording as soon as we finish, if I can.
It's okay because I've recorded it. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
But if you do,
I want you to listen to I would like you to listen to it. There are places there where, like she told that story at the end on the train, and I'd like you to listen to how quickly you came in with your story.
So just pause longer. Let it sink in.
Let it sink in. Listen to it. Take it in yourself. There's even some possible judgment that I heard you came in so quickly with your story. Were you thinking about your story so much? I mean,
Yeah, see, this should be in the freaking thing. We should be recording this because this is what's important. What we're saying.
I thought this. I thought this was about. I thought about it. I thought you might like this personally.
Now I want you to turn the recording back on and say it again because this is the meat. This is meat and potatoes.
All right.
Yep. So, because we're at 47 minutes. Well, I'm still recording, but mine doesn't count. We still have 10 more minutes to make an hour.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
We keep coming back on with addendums here. We're yakking it up.
So you don't have to say that. We're going to edit this right in. Boom. It'll be there.
Oh, right.
So, all right.
You know me.
In terms of, I thought that there were some places where I would have liked a little more pausing and listening. And like, for example, when you listen to it again, I thought that story that she told about the guy on the train, which is a beautiful story. When it finished, I would have liked a little more pause. And I don't know, maybe when I listen again, I won't find that, but it seemed to me you came in very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have liked a little more pause. And if one were thinking either experientially or intellectually, one might have thought, were you actually listening to me? Did you
Right.
hear the story? You responded so quickly. Were you thinking about your story when I was telling mine? Anyway, I would either intellectually have that or just unconsciously.
I agree. I totally appreciate you pointing this out, Doug, because I agree that in a way, yes, it triggered the retelling of the story that expresses what she's saying. And you're right. I want to take longer pause. I want to be able to. I just read you a Rumi quote that said, "Shut up, be quiet, be quiet," like just be, and let this expression be. I don't need to heighten it with something else.
And when you listen to the interview in general, listen to how it responds about how she would talk and how we would come in and just listen for the next comment.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was think about that. I will try to cut you a copy and get this to you.
Yeah, I totally appreciate it. That's a very mindful, that's why we're kind of continuing with this thought, because it is an expression of mindfulness. And I appreciate you pointing that out. And I agree that, yeah, I do a lot of that. And it's funny that it's in the little thing I read, and it's motivated by, my wanting to fill the air on the podcast. And
Is that it?
Partly. Are we done?
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, is that it? Is that what I'm doing? Yeah.
That's all I have. That's all I have.
Yes. And that's part of what I'm doing is I'm trying to, that's why even playfully cutting you off just feels like more banter, But we're working it out. We're early on this. We'll work it out.
Well, I think it's about the banter. It's different when you and I are bantering
Okay.
than when you're interviewing somebody else.
Yes, as a first interview.
Yes, exactly. So you were
Got
talking about interviewing somebody.
Yeah.
Give them space when they're talking. Give them space to comment and see what they have to add and bring in.
Yeah.
And she had stuff to add. She had wisdom.
Yes.
That woman had stuff. I like her.
Yes, she does. She definitely does. All right, let's end it.
Thank you.
Let's end it there. Then we're at an hour. Okay. And